Hello and welcome friends to Straight Bat, this video blog on my site where, as the title suggests, I aim to comment with a straight bat without fear or favor. And today my focus is on an individual who does inspire fear in many hearts. He's widely regarded as the second most powerful man in the country. But remember, in the nasty and cruel world of social media, even being the second most powerful man is not good enough. When Union Home Minister Amit Shah seemingly went missing during the lockdown, at least for the first 2 months of it, there were distressing questions being raised over his health. It reached a stage where the Home Minister was forced to issue a clarification saying that all was well. Well, in the last month, I can tell you, Amit Shah is well and truly back. He's given a slew of well-choreographed interviews on the first anniversary of Modi 2.0. He's done virtual rallies in election-bound Bihar, in Odisha and Bengal. He's been closely monitoring the Rajya Sabha elections, particularly in his home state of Gujarat and also importantly in BJP-ruled Manipur. And he has importantly and most significantly taken over as the big boss of the national capital Delhi and its fight against COVID. In a sense, the return of Shah, if you call it a return, marks the unlocking of politics. What does that mean? For almost 3 months during the lockdown, it wasn't just the country's economy that was in a lockdown, but so was its politics. The mostly timid opposition is reduced to expressing its angst on Twitter. And there seems really little space for raising issues of vital concern. Parliament has not met. In fact, scarcely has a select or standing committee of Parliament even met. Yes, the Prime Minister has held half a dozen meetings over video conference with chief ministers, but such cyber engagements are hardly a substitute for the cut and thrust of genuine debate. When other corona-affected democracies, most notably Britain, have focused on parliamentary debate, I'm afraid in India, we have chosen to impose almost a moratorium on our politics. This willful disregard for any form of dissent and discussion, to my mind, is dangerous. Firstly, it allows a dominant party government to impose its will on the people amidst a veil of non-transparency and non-accountability. As a result, a serious security challenge in the context of the Sino-Indian border is caught up in secrecy and disingenuous wordplay. The tragedy of the dislocation of lakhs of migrants is blamed on state governments. The fact that health infrastructure has not been at times able to cope up with the spread of COVID is again blamed on state governments. The fact is that a faltering economy needs a genuine boost is an issue which only a few industrialists are ready to raise in public fora. No details are provided, for example, to an RTI that has been filed on the Prime Minister's CARES Fund. Where is the money going in the PM CARES Fund? Petrol and diesel prices have been hiked 22 times in the last 2 months. No explanation. A 27-year-old Jamia student activist is named as a prime conspirator in the Delhi riots case of February, even as any leader associated with the ruling party is given a clean chit. A police officer arrested for allegedly helping terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir is out on bail, but human rights activists are repeatedly denied bail, even as political prisoners continue to languish in Jammu and Kashmir under house arrest. And if I raise these questions, God forbid, you will be called anti-national or perhaps charged with sedition. In this ominous scenario of unbridled state power, enter or re-enter the great polarizer Amit Shah. Let's be honest, no other minister in Modi 2.0 has invested as much in the last year in keeping the political pot boiling as much as Mr. Shah. Then whether it's nullifying Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, pushing ahead with the Citizenship Amendment Act, driving the Ram Mandir agenda forward, Shah has provided an ideological muscle, in a sense, to the BJP's Hindutva juggernaut. And he is a ruthless and sharp politician who's engineered mass defections in my home state of Goa. He's displaced a JDS Congress government in Karnataka, and of course toppled a Congress government in Madhya Pradesh, and is now gradually breaking the Congress in his home state of Gujarat. In the process, Mr. Shah has become a political figure to fear and admire, depending on which side of the ideological divide you are. With Shah's return to center stage, my sense is the Narendra Modi government has decided to shift gears once again and decided to focus on the political management of a COVID-hit nation. There is, for example, an election to be won in Bihar in a few months' time. You saw the signs of the attention being paid, for example, to Chhath Puja in the Prime Minister's address this week. Clearly, Bihar is on the mind, and that's where the Prime Minister may need Amit Shah's election management skills. There is an even bigger prize that awaits him in Bengal next year. Mr. Shah is desperate to win the state of Bengal. Not surprisingly, therefore, Mr. Shah has launched a scathing personal attack on Mamata Banerjee, accusing her of failing the fight against COVID, a sign that the gloves are off in this battle for Bengal. Ironically, the truth is, a home minister in COVID times is expected to work closely with state governments. The National Disaster Management Act gives a huge amount of residual powers to the Home Ministry to act in a health emergency. But it also requires the centre to provide guidance, support to state governments, and in general ensure a harmonious centre-state equation. Shah's personality trait is instinctively that of a combative leader. Jhagda karna hai. He's a pugilist as a politician. But a pandemic calls for a change in style. It doesn't call for confrontation, but for cooperation, for consensus building. This is therefore, in my view, not a moment for dividing a hyperpolarized society or playing further politics or seeking to rule by fear and intimidation. Whether a leader like Shah can reinvent himself is uncertain. The rules for good governance are very different from those for winning elections. Already in Delhi, there are suggestions that Shah is now running this COVID fight by diktat, with very little consultation with state governments. This might partly explain why so many unilateral decisions are taken one day and then reversed the very next through the office of the Lieutenant Governor, who in a sense is the representative of the Home Minister. For example, a medically unwise decision was taken that anyone who's affected with corona, be it with mild or serious symptoms, must necessarily be hospitalized. This had to be quickly reversed, if you might recall. Across the world, home quarantine has been encouraged for non-critical COVID patients to avoid overburdening a strained health infrastructure. The truth is, a pandemic calls for setting aside personal egos and working for the greater public good. The Home Minister may have no love lost for Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, but this is a moment to set aside personal differences and work as Team Delhi. So far in his political career, Amit Shah has acquired a reputation for being a divisive figure. Now he needs to become a unifying force and provide, dare I say, a healing touch to a traumatized citizenry. If he can actually make that transition, then it would mark an important step in the career of one of the most controversial politicians of our times. Just let me add, and this is why I say the only thing certain about Indian politics is that the future is uncertain. At the start of 2020, Amit Shah and Arvind Kejriwal were engaged in one of the most bitter and fractious and polarized election campaigns this country has ever seen. Now a virus has forced them to jointly inaugurate COVID care centers, sit in a room together as grim-faced masked men. That's what a pandemic does. Thanks for watching The Straight Bat.